Oh, gotta find a spot where that sun isn't hitting. There we go. We'll try this. Well, good morning. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Maddog Merv. And we are right on time again. That's 2 weeks in a row. Got spray paint on my hands. You can tell I've been busy out here in the dog house. Oh, it is a brisk but beautiful morning. We are in the 50s, in the 50-degree range somewhere. We had a cold front move in partway through the week, and it dropped the temperatures down. We were in the upper 40s for lows last couple of nights, so I had to actually kick over the heater in the house, which we're in late September, but still, that's kind of crazy. So anyway, welcome. My coffee's getting a little bit cold from being out here for a few minutes. So for today's shout out, I think I mentioned this channel before, but I never really put enough information out there for you to find it. It's called Build. Build. DA and then capital Build. And this guy makes a bunch of props, Halloween horror stuff, just some pretty neat stuff. Not just horror stuff, but movie props as well, and does a pretty darn good job with it. So if you are into, well, even as a modeler, the ideas that he throws out there, you could actually shrink it down to your modeling needs. But check him out, Build, and I'll try to put a link in the description later on today. Sorry, trying to find a good spot where that sun doesn't just obliterate everything. So last week, what did we do last week? What did we do last week? Oh, the decals on the Camaro. So when I put that whole thing together, I quickly painted it, let it dry for a couple days, put the decals on, and I wanted to show everybody just kind of how I decal when I can't find all the stuff I'm supposed to be able to find to do my decals. So that's what that whole show was about. Now we will come back and we will finish that Camaro sometime later this year. Right now, as you know, it's right in the middle of Halloween creativity season, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm working on right now. Hence why why have I got black? I've got like black spray paint on my fingers. That may be from an electronics box that I built. So this will be in an upcoming show, but to run all of the stuff for Halloween that I've got out in my front yard, I needed to be able to plug things in a safe way so that when it gets wet, we don't short everything out. So I had purchased off of Amazon, I had purchased this really cool plastic box that you run your cords in, and it's weatherproof, really nice, and it works good for like putting a plug strip in there. Well, I wanted to put a fog machine out and have a fog machine sitting out for the season, but they're metal and they get hot and they're electronic, so things would short out. I decided that I needed to make another box, but this one I was going to do custom. So I went to All a Dollar, and this will be in an upcoming video. Got the got a couple of trays that were the right size, and put this thing down in. Learned how to make my own fog juice, and voila! As of last night, I have a completed front yard display, including this fog that comes out underneath my alien spaceship, which is really cool. So this is all going to be coming up in a show or two later this month, or next month, I should say, because we're at the end of this month. Tomorrow on the show. So tomorrow we're going to be putting up part 1 of making those space aliens. Now, I think it was in last week's live announcement that you kind of got to see the front yard and how it was coming along. And there's these little green aliens in blue spacesuits that are inhabiting the flower box in the front yard. I'm going to show you guys how I went ahead and made those. They were simplistic in the way, the materials and how you do it. It's, you know, pretty simple and straightforward, crafty type stuff. But the actual execution of putting them together, you know, it was about 5 hours a piece to do them. And that was, you know, an average. Some took a little bit longer, depending on the pose and what I was trying to do. And that doesn't include the adjustments. When I say adjustments, I'd get it all painted up. It'd be really cool. I'd put it out in the front yard. It'd sit there for a day or two. And between the sun baking it and the other elements, the wind, everything else, I'd go out a day or two later and parts would be falling off of these little aliens. So I'd have to go back and I'd have to repair them. So that's going to be all part of the video coming up. The trial and error portion of putting these little aliens up. But tomorrow we're going to start the project. We're going to start how I got the inspiration for it and how I executed doing it. So check it out. Check it out. I know a lot of you guys aren't into the crafting stuff, and it was a real change for me to go from modeling to crafting, because you're using different materials, you're using different glues, and it was quite a challenge for me, and I learned a lot in doing it. So anyway, check that out tomorrow. I think that's going to be the next 2 weeks, because I've got about 40 minutes worth of video on just getting these guys created. So tomorrow we're going to do part 1. Okay. On the Kit Hoarder stash, we had that Mustang that a friend of mine found at the Deseret Industries. Goodwill, as you guys all know it, or the thrift shop, whatever you want to call them. But that kit that had come out originally, I want to say it was 94 originally, the body part of the kit came out in like 84 or 83, I guess. And then they released it 10 years later with a 302 engine instead of the Boss 429. And then this kit here came out in 2004. And it was just a reboxing of it, just a reissue of it. It's been reissued a couple more times since then, and it's a great kit. A lot of guys like all the little pieces and parts of putting together a front end and whatnot. I don't. More things to go wrong, more places to screw up the engineering on it. And so certain parts, yeah, I want to build, and certain parts I could care less if I build. And the front suspension on that, I could care less if I build one of those. So it's molded in the chassis. It makes for a fairly quick build. Yeah, you've got plenty of time to spend cleaning it up, painting it, prepping it, decaling it, doing your interior. There's a lot of time that you can spend making this model look just amazing and lifelike. But it's a little simplistic for some. Not for me. I like projects that I can do in a couple of weekends. So My days of doing those year-long projects are just, they're over. I don't have that kind of attention span anymore. So anyway, that's going to be a fun kit. I've built it a couple of times. I've built the Boss 302 version once uh, in one of the later releases of it, and I built the 429, the Boss 429, 5 or 6 times. So I'm very familiar with the kit, and I really like this kit. So coming up this week, there's one that I know you've seen. Everybody's seen it. Some people have owned it. A lot of people build it. It's one of that doesn't really sit in a stash much. Um, Although the first one I had, I got out of a stash, wound up owning it for a while, and then I sold it. Acquired this other one from my friend who picked it up at a thrift store for $5, and it's the Lindbergh 3-in-1 1934 pickup truck kit. You can build it as a hot rod. You can build it as a kind of a street machine. You could build it as a wrecker. You can build it as a stake bed. It's really a cool little kit. Mine, I'll tell you right now, ahead of Thursday, it is missing a couple of parts, but they're not important parts for me to worry about. So I got the hiccups. So that's what's coming up this week, is the 34 Ford pickup by Lindbergh. I don't know if we will have a stash in 2 weeks, which is like, what, the 5th of October? Because next weekend I'm going to be in Virginia. I'm scheduled to fly out, and a week from today, hopefully, if the good Lord willing, we will be doing a live broadcast from Richmond, Virginia. That's the whole plan. Now we'll see what actually happens. I hate to fly. Everybody knows that. I don't fit well in aircraft seats because they try to pack 1,000 people in I just call them cattle cars because that's all they are. So it always concerns me to fly, and especially long distances. Oh, jeez. And this is going to be a late night flight, so I'm very concerned. I'm not young anymore. I don't do those red-eye flights well, never have, and so I'm kind of concerned. But it was the only option I had to get back to Richmond. So anyway, next week we're going to try and do a live from Richmond, and then we'll have part 2 of the Alien, and may not have a kit hoarder stash that week. We'll see what I come up with, because it's a busy time. So speaking of busy, so this week I finished up the skeleton that I'm doing for the one popping out of the picture. You guys saw that in the Labor Day video. If not, go back a few weeks to the Labor Day video, the kickoff of Halloween season, and you'll see this this painting with a specter popping out of it. And I'm trying to not replicate it exactly, but I'm trying to do something similar. And I've finished my skeleton. I feel really confident in how he looks. But now the hard part is I got to find a picture the right size that I can have him popping out of. So it's going to be a couple weeks before I get that one finished. Hopefully I meet the deadline of Halloween. We'll see. I have this animatronic bartender downstairs in the house that I purchased, and it looks really cool, and he's got these different sayings. I got him at Home Depot, but ever since I got him, he worked like one time, and that was it. So I kept calling customer service. They were really good with me. They would send me out control box, and you know the story. They sent the one out and it was just rattling around, so they sent me another one, and I got that one and put it in, and same problems. I'm like, crap, what's going on? So they put me through to the parts department. I talked to a parts expert there, and they had an idea. They said, if you have another animatronic, do you have the power supply that you could try hooking up? And I said, well, yeah, I could try that. So I hook up a new power supply, and he works great. Turns out the power supply, the 6 volt 2 amp power supply was, so got a new one off Amazon. Customer service sent me a new one as well. So now I have a spare. So he's up and running, but that all took some time out of my out of my life to do. I did have for this I don't know what to call it, convention that I'm going to in Virginia. I'm going to be speaking one. I've got my own session that I'm going to be speaking, and I had to put together the PowerPoint for that and get it sent in. So I did that this week. Also, come to find out, I'm going to be helping my friends at the EPA are putting together a presentation, and they would like my help for part of the presentation that they're doing. So yay, get to help out the EPA. This all took time, building time. I did have some repairs to do on my on a couple of my aliens, but for the most part, they're doing well. I did want to hook up a smoke machine outside, like I said. So I came up with an idea for an enclosure, got the enclosure built. I spent time getting everything set up so that we'd be waterproof. We could plug everything in just fine. Ran lights to my spaceship, and guess what? Everything works, and it looks amazing. So when we show you the final reveal of that here in a few weeks, that's one you'll want to tune into. It looks cool. It turned out well. I have to admit, I do have to admit, it does look really cool. I've got one last thing I need to do to it, and that is put some lights around the outside of the spaceship to kind of light that up. But other than that, it's done. So that there's the skeleton that I finished up the skeleton itself, and it's done and ready to go. I just have to, like I say, find a picture. But I've also been working on a World of Tanks project that I've been wanting to do for a few years, and it's part of that Halloween group, or the Halloween season, the monster tanks as they call it. And I've built a few of those. They've been fun builds. They really have. And this one, this one's had some challenges already. So we'll do that show sometime in October, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to have that one done here before too long. And I'm excited about that one. So lots and lots of building, lots and lots of crafting, and just enjoying the heck out of the beautiful weather while we've got it. I think we're going to get an early winter this year. It just feels that way. It's definitely been cooler this fall than last year at this time, which is a concern. Guy taking his Beechcraft out for a little Sunday morning fly, if you will. Yeah, it's a beauty. Speaking of which, we have a couple of visitors about 25 miles south of here at the Provo City Airport. One is Sentimental Journey B-17, and the other one is, I can't remember what they call it, but it's a privateer, a PB4Y-1, is it? -1? The privateer. And it's actually got a glass nose on it, which is interesting. Hadn't seen that on a PBY before, but no nose gun, just a glass nose. But it's there too. So I may head down there today. We'll see if I get time. I do have some grandkid time I need to spend, so we'll see how things go. Well, folks, looks like I missed most everybody. We're like I say, we're gonna try this 9 a.m. on Sunday mornings for a while. We're gonna try it and see how it goes. If it doesn't work out well for you guys, then we'll can it and we'll just go back to the way we did it before. If you guys like it, let me know, and we'll continue on trying to do this live broadcast, because part of the live deal is not only completely spontaneous, which we don't usually have a problem with anyway, but it gives me an opportunity to interact with you. You can throw up some comments or say hello or whatever, and it gives us that opportunity to interact. So let me know what you guys think about it. If there's a better time I should be thinking about doing this. I always thought Sunday morning would be good. During the week, it's kind of difficult because most everybody's working during the mornings, during the week. Since the nature of this is sitting down, having a cup of coffee and having a chat over coffee, it's not going to work for me to do this late in the evening. A bedtime nightcap with Maddog Merv. Yeah, that's probably not going to work. So anyway, let me know if these live segments are going to work or not for you. If not, I'll just go back to the old format that I did before. So all right, well, I've kept you guys long enough. I am going to get finishing the rest of my coffee, and I'm going to get in there and work on this tank that I've been working on, and I'm very excited to have it done. It's one of those projects that I run into enough little problems with it. Real quick, I saw this on, I think it was on TikTok. I can't remember where exactly I saw it, and it doesn't matter, but men will tell their significant others, I'm working on cars because it relaxes me, it de-stresses me. And then in the next frame, you got the guy cussing and swearing and throwing stuff, breaking things. And that is so true. That is so true. Whether it's working on cars, I invented some great swear words working on cars years ago. And depending on the model kit, some of those model kits, I also invent some good, colorful language that could make a sailor blush, I'll tell you. You do it to unwind and to relax, I guess, until you run into a kit that just drives you absolutely batty, and you have to conquer it. You have to make it right, and in doing so, you get so frustrated. I'm not to that point yet with this one, but it's getting there. The way it was engineered, and it's a Dragon kit, so this is one of those things where the engineering could have probably been better. Not that it was an easy job to engineer this from the real one, the prototype. Definitely has a weird suspension, and so whoever engineered this into a model kit, they had a challenge, and it's a challenging kit to build, so we'll just leave it at that. All right, folks, see you tomorrow. We're going to be looking at those aliens and how I got them started, and have a great week.